Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to give you those strategic insights, fast and deep.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're really tackling something big. It's about mastering the residency interview, specifically if you're a globally trained physician, an IMG.
Yeah, and it's a huge challenge. It takes way more preparation than maybe a U.S. grad needs.
Absolutely. The whole IMG journey, it shows incredible dedication.
Yeah.
But the system, well, it throws up unique barriers, doesn't it?
It really does. You're dealing with different clinical systems, maybe cultural gaps. The competition is fierce and very specific.
Right. And the usual interview advice, it just doesn't cover all that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So what we've got here, based on our sources, it's like a surgical roadmap.
A roadmap.
Yeah. It lays out the specific psychological shifts you need to make, the pre-interview planning, mastering the tech for virtual stuff.
And crucially, how to answer those really tough IMG-specific questions.
Exactly. Our sources pull together a complete strategy guide.
Right.
And the core idea. It's about taking your diverse global experience and turning it from something you feel you have to overcome into, well, your biggest asset.
So it's preparation, the interview itself, and that critical follow-up after, all tailored for you, the globally trained physician.
That's the plan.
So our mission today is really to hand you these specific frameworks, this knowledge. We want you to walk in feeling empowered.
Right. To shift how you present yourself. Not like you're playing catch-up, but like you're bringing something unique and valuable to the table.
A competitive advantage.
Exactly. Which brings us to the absolute foundation, the big mindset shift.
The thesis for today.
Yeah. You have to consciously move from that feeling of, oh, I'm just an IMG, I need to prove I'm good enough.
Which is so common, I imagine.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
But you need to shift to embodying this identity. I am a globally trained physician.
That's a really powerful reframe.
It is. And our sources point to three key practical shifts to make this real in the interview.
Okay, what are they?
First is exactly that. Stop seeing yourself as just an IMG applicant. See yourself as a globally trained professional. Own that.
Okay, makes sense. What's the second?
The second is about your CV narrative. If you've got time away from U.S. clinical settings,
The dreaded gaps.
right? Stop calling them gaps. Frame them as unique experiences to share.
Okay. But hang on, an interviewer sees that time off clinical work. How does just rebranding it change anything, really?
It changes your confidence. And that comes across, if you think it's a gap, you sound apologetic.
Right.
But if you frame it as, say, valuable time managing high-volume clinics back home, or maybe a deep dive into research.
Or even dedicated step prep.
Exactly. That's not a gap. That's commitment to academic excellence. You present it as skill-building time. It changes how you talk about it and how they hear it.
I see. It's about the internal story affecting the external delivery. And the third shift, you mentioned communication anxiety earlier.
Yes, this one's huge. Shift 3. Move away from, I need to hide my accent, or sorry for my English.
Which must be incredibly stressful.
It is. Instead, recognize my communication skills are culturally aware. They help me connect with diverse patients. Your resilience, handling complex cases, bridging cultures, that's exactly what diverse U.S. programs actually want. They need it.
Okay, so embracing the differences as strengths, let's get tactical. How do we translate that confidence into action? Starting with the prep work, it needs to be meticulous, right? Not just surface level stuff.
Absolutely. If you research residency like you're applying to undergrad, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Harsh, but probably true.
It's just the reality. Research isn't passive browsing. It's intelligence gathering. You can't just rely on good scores. You need what the source material calls the 3-layer research method.
3 layers. Okay. Sounds intensive. Let's break it down. Layer 1, program basics. 2 to 3 hours per program. What are we looking for?
Yeah, at least 2 or 3 hours. You need to go way beyond the website splash page. Look for specific, unique rotations. Do they have a global health track that fits your background? A specialized ICU? Palliative care?
Things that connect to your story.
Precisely. Note the fellowships they offer. Are they integrated? That tells you about internal opportunities.
And identifying their stated values. That seems subtle.
It is, but critical. Read the program director's message carefully. What words do they use? Diversity, community service, research focus.
So if they highlight community outreach.
Then that story you have about adapting care for a specific cultural group, bam, perfect fit. You also need to look at what their current residents are publishing.
Why is that?
It shows what the program actually values and supports right now, not just what the brochure says. If you see 5 recent papers on, say, geriatric diabetes care.
Then you know that's a real focus, and you need to store your question related to that.
Exactly. You're gathering evidence to show you belong there specifically. Okay, layer 2. The geographic deep dive. 1 or 2 hours. Why is location so much more critical for IMGs?
Right, a U.S. grad might just move back home after residency. It's different for IMGs.
It's completely different. Stability is often tied to your visa, your family. So research the city demographics. Are there communities from your home region? Cultural resources, grocery stores, places of worship, schools?
Things that make it feel like home outside the hospital stress.
Yes. It shows you're thinking long-term. Thriving for 3-5 years, not just surviving residency, it signals you're a solid investment for them.
And the practical side, visa-friendly employers.
Crucial and often missed. Look beyond the teaching hospital. Are there other clinics, hospitals, practices nearby known for sponsoring J-1 waivers or H-1Bs?
Not just for you, but potentially a spouse.
Absolutely. If your partner needs visa support for their career, showing you've researched their opportunities too, that demonstrates serious planning, commitment, maturity.
Okay, that makes sense. Which leads to layer 3, faculty connections, another 2 to 3 hours. This is about making it personal.
This is where you go from being an application number to a known quantity. Dig into the program director's work, recent papers, specific interests.
How do you do that without seeming like a stalker?
Stick to public info, PubMed, Google Scholar, the department website. The aim isn't creepy, it's finding genuine common ground. Mentioning their recent abstract on, say, telehealth implementation shows you're truly interested in their work.
Okay. And looking for other IMGs on faculty.
Definitely. Anyone from your home country, your med school, that's an instant connection. You can ask targeted questions during the resident meet and greet.
Like what?
Something specific. I saw you also trained in home country. How did you find the transition to using the EMR system here at program name compared to the paper charts back home? It shows you've done your research on them.
This deep dive really paid off for that case study, Dr. Pia, right?
Oh, massively. She's the perfect example. She's from India, did this layer 3 work, and found out her target program had just launched a big global health initiative focused on Southeast Asia, tropical medicine.
So when they ask the standard, why our program question.
She didn't give a generic answer about liking global health. She was ready. She talked specifically about her hands-on experience managing dengue fever outbreaks in India, high-volume setting, the specific protocols she helped develop.
Wow. So she wasn't just saying, I'm interested. She was showing, I have relevant skills you need right now for your new initiative.
Exactly. That conversation apparently went on for 15 minutes. She wasn't asking for a spot. She was offering expertise tailored to their stated goals. That's the power of going deep.
She basically became a potential asset on the spot.
Okay, so research is locked down. Next up, the paperwork. Logistics. This sounds like another major hurdle for IMGs. Hashtag 1.2 document and logistics preparation.
It really can be. Unnecessary stress often comes from last-minute scrambles here. The key takeaway from the sources: have everything collated, checked, and ready to go 2 weeks before your first interview date.
Not just before you submit ERES, but 2 weeks before interview 1.
Right. That includes your updated CV, and make sure it's in the standard American format, which can be different.
Yeah.
Your ECFMG certificate transcripts, USMLE scores, and letters of rec. You mentioned copies.
Yeah, have 4 or 5 printed copies of each LOR. I know they're uploaded, but tech glitches happen. Programs sometimes ask for a hard copy on the spot. You need to produce it instantly.
Okay, good tip. What else?
Your publications, proof of visa status, whatever it is, J1 eligible, H1B, EAD, have the documentation clear. And certificates for all your U.S. clinical experience. Make sure they clearly state your role and the dates.
That's a mountain of documents to keep track of, especially if you're traveling or juggling time zones.
Which leads to the pro tip, the quick access folder.
Ah, tell me about this.
Create a secure, maybe encrypted folder in your clouds, Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever, and mirror it locally on your phone. Inside. Clearly labeled PDFs of every single one of these documents.
So if anyone asks an admin, an interviewer, even airport security for visa stuff, you can just pull it up on your phone?
Instantly. No fumbling through bags or emails. It reduces friction. It shows you're organized, prepared, competent. You can manage complex patient data because you can manage your own data flawlessly.
It signals professionalism before you even answer a question. Okay, foundation laid, research done, documents ready. Now, the actual interview content. crafting the narrative.
Right. This is where behavioral interviewing comes in.
Yeah.
And it often trips up IMGs because the U.S. style expects a certain level of direct self-advocacy.
Which can feel unnatural coming from some cultures.
Exactly. So you need to prepare deliberately. You need a story bank.
A story bank, like a collection of anecdotes.
Precisely. The recommendation is 8 to 10 polished stories, and they must follow the STAR format.
STAR. Situation, task, action, result. And you quickly recap that.
Sure. Situation. Set the scene briefly. Task. What was your specific goal or responsibility? Action. What did you personally do, step by step? Result. What was the measurable outcome?
Okay, sounds straightforward, but what's the catch?
The delivery constraint. The 90-second rule.
90 seconds. That sounds really short for a complex clinical story.
It is. And that's the point. It forces clarity. Interviewers are busy, often tired. They need you to synthesize information efficiently. If you ramble for 3 minutes, you've lost them.
So how do you fit it all in?
You focus your time, spend maybe 30% on situation and task, just setting it up, then 70% on the action, what you did, and the result, and make that result quantifiable whenever possible. Numbers talk.
Got it. Focus on your impact. So what kinds of stories need to be in this bank? The sources list 6 core categories.
Yep. 6 essential areas. First, clinical excellence. And this isn't just about knowing medicine. It's about applying it smartly, maybe in a unique context.
Like the example they gave, the Bengali-speaking patient.
Exactly. Patient with uncontrolled diabetes wasn't adhering to the plan. The IMG, using language skills and cultural insight, realized the issue was linked to religious fasting, something others had missed.
So the action was?
Tailoring the insulin regimen and the patient education specifically around the fasting calendar. Cultural sensitivity driving the medical plan.
And the results? Measurable.
Very. HbA1c dropped from 11.2 down to 7.8. That's tangible proof of using cultural competence for a better clinical outcome. That's excellence.
Okay, powerful. Next category, resilience and challenges. This feels tailor-made for IMGs.
It really is. It's often about navigating the new system. The classic example is struggling with the EMR, the electronic medical record system, or just different U.S. protocols.
Which can be a huge learning curve.
Huge. But the winning story isn't just, I struggled, then I learned. It's proactive. The example is an IMG who created their own comparison charts, home country protocols versus this specific U.S. hospital's protocols, side by side.
So they didn't just wait to be taught.
No. And they actively asked nurses for tips for workflow shortcuts. They integrated themselves. The amazing result. Within 3 weeks, they were so proficient, they were asked to informally teach other rotating students how to use the system more efficiently.
Wow. Turning a personal struggle into a teaching moment for others, that flips the script completely.
Shows initiative, agility, teaching potential. All gold. Okay, third, leadership. This doesn't have to mean being the chief.
More like seeing a need and stepping up.
Exactly. The example story. An IMG noticed fellow international students were brilliant clinically, but struggled with the rapid-fire American case presentation style. You know, the pimping questions.
Right. Very different from other systems.
So the action. They organized voluntary weekly practice sessions specifically for mastering that format, peer-to-peer teaching.
And the result showed community impact.
Big time. 5 out of the 6 students in that practice group ended up getting honors in their rotations. It shows leadership, teamwork, elevating others. Programs love that.
Okay, category 4, cultural competency. This seems related to the first story, but maybe broader.
Yeah, it requires high emotional intelligence. The anecdote used involves a tricky situation. A patient from a Middle Eastern background who refused care from female residents based on cultural or religious beliefs.
That puts the team in a difficult spot.
Very. The successful IMG didn't argue or force the issue. They recognized it as cultural sensitivity needed. The action was nuanced. They became the main point person, building rapport with the family.
But involved the female residents. How?
Carefully. Involve them in non-direct examination roles initially. Discussing the case, reviewing labs, talking about the plan with the family present. Gradually built trust by showing respect and competence from the whole team. It demonstrates navigating diversity effectively.
That's a very sophisticated skill.
Okay.
Okay, last one. The mistake learning story. Always a tough one.
It is. The key is the mistake needs to be real, something you learned from, but obviously not something catastrophic or negligent.
What was the example?
A medication error. Prescribed a drug using the brand name from their home country, but the U.S. formulation was different. Potential for harm.
Okay, so what was the crucial action and result?
Immediate ownership. Full apology. Taking responsibility. But then the systemic fix. They created a detailed cross-reference guide comparing common medication names and formulations between their home system and the U.S. hospital. They shared it.
So the mistake led directly to a patient safety resource for everyone.
Exactly. The focus shifts from the error to the constructive, system-improving response. That shows maturity, accountability, and dedication to safety. Hashtag tag 2.2 structured mock interview training.
Okay, so you've got your 8-10 star stories polished, but just having them isn't enough. You need to deliver them smoothly, confidently. That takes practice, serious practice.
Absolutely, not just cramming the night before. The sources lay out a structured 6-week progression. It's about building skills dynamically, not just memorizing lines.
6 weeks. Okay, walk me through it. Weeks 1 and 2.
That's the foundation phase. 30 minutes daily, practice in front of a mirror, or even better, record yourself on video.
What's the main goal in these early weeks?
Getting rid of filler words, the likes, they just undermine your confidence. Record yourself answering 5 common questions each day. Watch it back. Be critical.
And for virtual interviews?
Practice looking directly at the camera lens, not at the interviewer's picture on the screen. It feels unnatural at first, but it's crucial for virtual eye contact. Build that muscle memory.
Okay, foundation set, weeks 3 and 4.
Peer practice. Time to get feedback. Schedule mocks with other IMGs, sure. But also, try to practice with U.S. residents or med students if you can. Join online practice groups.
Why practice with people outside the IMG bubble?
It tests your clarity. Does your story make sense to someone unfamiliar with your specific background? It forces you to refine your language, avoid jargon, and really nail that conversational flow for an American audience.
Makes sense. Pushing the comfort zone. Then weeks 5 and 6, the final stretch.
Advanced prep. This is where you simulate the real deal. Formal mock interviews with attendings, ideally people who've been on admissions committees.
Get realistic feedback.
Exactly. And practice the tough stuff. Stress interviews, rapid-fire questions, questions designed to probe weaknesses. Also, full virtual technical run-throughs. Test your lighting, your mic, your internet. Leave nothing to chance on the actual day.
It sounds like consistency is key throughout this.
Totally. The sample schedule provided is a good model. Maybe Monday, behavioral questions, Tuesday, clinical scenarios, Wednesday, ethical dilemmas, Thursday, program-specific questions you researched, Friday, full mock integrating everything.
And the weekend.
Review your recordings. Refine your star stories based on feedback. Prepare for the next week's focus. It's a deliberate, structured build-up.
All right, let's shift gears to the questions themselves, especially those really high-stakes ones, the ones that are pretty unique to the IMG experience. These can really make or break an interview, can't they? Hashtag 3.1 frameworks for high-stakes questions.
They absolutely can, often more than board scores at this stage. And probably the most common, most critical one is, why you want to do residency in the United States?
Sounds simple, but it's a trap if you're generic. Saying it's the best training isn't enough, is it?
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's way too generic. You need a structured 4-part answer.
Okay, break it down. Part 1.
Start with genuine passion. Passion for a specific aspect of American medical education or research. Be specific. Maybe the focus on evidence-based medicine or the research infrastructure in your field.
Part 2.
Mention specific system aspects that attract you, like the multidisciplinary team approach, or access to certain technologies or protocols you didn't have back home.
Okay, part 3.
Connected to your personal experience. Briefly contrast it with your background. In my previous setting, we managed high acuity with limited resources, and I'm eager to now gain experience with the depth of diagnostic tools available here. Something like that.
Got it. And the crucial 4th part, the unique contribution.
This is where you seal the deal. End by stating how you will uniquely enrich their program. Frames your background as an asset. I believe I can contribute by bringing perspectives gained from your specific experience and combining that with the cutting-edge training here.
So it flips it from, why should we pick you, to, here's the value I bring.
Exactly. Value added, not deficit-based. Okay, next landmine. Tell me about gaps in your CV or clinical experience. Causes a lot of anxiety.
Understandably. How do you handle it?
Use the productive response framework. 1. Acknowledge the timeline briefly, factually. No long excuses, no apologies.
Just state the facts.
Yes. 2. Immediately pivot to what you were doing productively during that time. Working, research, volunteering, studying intensely for USMLE. Quantify it if possible. Managed a clinic seeing 50-plus patients daily. Published 2 posters.
Don't let them dwell on the gap. Focus on the activity.
Right. 3. Highlight the skills you gained during that time. Time management from juggling work and study. Research skills. Resilience.
Connected to residency skills.
Yes. And 4. Redirect forcefully to your recent achievements. Mention stellar performance in recent U.S. rotations, current research projects. Show them the gap is history and you're fully engaged and ready now.
Okay, proactive and forward-looking. What about the emotional one? How will you handle being away from family? Text resilience.
Yeah, this needs honesty, but also strategy. Use the resilience framework. First, acknowledge it's a challenge. Don't pretend it's easy. It will certainly be difficult.
Be authentic.
Right. Second, describe specific existing coping mechanisms, not vague stuff. The example given, we have a virtual family dinner every Sunday via video call, is great because it's concrete. It shows you've already planned.
Proves you're managing it.
Exactly. Third, mention your support systems here. Friends you made during rotations, connections in the local community from your home country, a physician network you've joined.
Show you're building roots.
Yes. And finally, try to connect the experience to a professional strength. Honestly, managing the stress of being far from home has increased my empathy for patients who feel isolated or are coping with difficult circumstances. Turn the personal challenge into enhanced patient connection.
Okay, let's talk about behavioral questions where maybe unconscious bias might creep in, especially for IMGs, like the conflict with a colleague question.
Right. The best strategy here, especially if you suspect bias might be a factor, is often indirect. Prove your competence, earn respect, rather than direct confrontation.
Tell me about the example used, a dismissive resident.
Yeah, the scenario is a U.S. resident in Newark who was kind of dismissive towards the IMG, maybe assuming they were less capable because of their background or accent.
So how did the IMG handle it without escalating things?
They focused on excelling clinically, just did impeccable work on rounds,
Mm-hmm.
then waited for an opportunity. A complex case came up, thyroid storm, maybe rare there, but common where the IMG trained.
Ah, a chance to showcase unique expertise.
Exactly. The IMG didn't interrupt rudely, but respectfully offered, I've managed several cases like this before. In my experience, specific approach can be very effective. Maybe even offered to quickly share a key paper or protocol.
So they demonstrated value, didn't argue about respect.
Precisely. The resident had to acknowledge the expertise, the takeaway. Demonstrating undeniable competence and helpfulness is often the most powerful way to overcome initial bias. Let your work speak for itself.
Smart. What about patient bias? The awful situation where a patient refuses care based on your accent or appearance.
This requires absolute professionalism under pressure. It's an ethical test, too. First step, stay calm. Don't internalize it. It's not about you personally.
Easier said than done, but okay. Step 2.
Reassure the patient that their care is the top priority. Then, immediately offer a solution that respects their unfortunate preference while ensuring care continues. Offer to have a colleague handle the direct physical exam or primary interaction.
While you stay involved.
Absolutely. You emphasize, while I remain fully involved in your care, reviewing your results, coordinating the plan with the team, you support from the sidelines initially.
Does that usually work?
Often, yes. You build rapport indirectly by demonstrating competence and unwavering commitment to their well-being. You're present, professional, thorough. Many patients come around when they see that dedication.
And if they don't, if it persists?
Then you escalate appropriately. Involve the attending physician, involve patient relations. The system needs to address the discrimination, but always ensuring the patient continues to receive excellent care throughout. Patient safety first, always.
Okay, we've planned, we've prepped our stories, we've strategized answers. Now it's game day or the days leading up to it. Execution is everything. The 48-hour countdown needs to be precise. Hashtag 4.1, the 48-hour countdown and in-person excellence.
Precision is key. 48 hours out. Logistics locked down. Triple check interview times, especially time zones. Don't just trust your calendar reminder. Test all your tech, even if it's an in-person interview you might need your phone or laptop. Lay out your main outfit and a complete backup outfit.
Good call on the backup. What else?
Review your program-specific research notes, focusing on the faculty you know you'll meet. Refresh your memory on their work.
Okay, 24 hours out. Mental game time.
Mental and physical. Get some light exercise, a walk, some stretching. Helps burn off nervous energy. Do one final quick review of your personal statement just to reconnect with your why.
Any psychological prep.
Yeah, the sources mentioned power poses. Sounds cheesy maybe, but spending 2 minutes doing confidence stances can actually boost confidence hormones. Worth a shot. And the absolute golden rule, stop studying by 8 p.m. the night before.
Let the brain rest.
You need sleep. 8 hours if possible. An exhausted brain can't think on its feet.
Interview morning. Ritual.
Keep it simple. Light breakfast protein, complex carbs for sustained energy, No heavy stuff. One last glance at your personal statement. That's it.
For in-person interviews, arrival time.
Arrive in the vicinity 30 minutes early. Gives you buffer time, but only check in or enter the waiting area about 15 minutes before your scheduled time. Don't hover awkwardly for too long.
And there's that crucial point about interacting with everyone.
Yes. This is a subtle test. Be warm, polite, and respectful to literally everyone you encounter. The security guard, the person at the front desk, the janitor, the program coordinator. Programs do ask their staff for impressions of applicants. Don't blow it by being rude to someone you don't think matters.
Great reminder. Okay, different interview formats. Traditional one-on-one. Any tips beyond the basics?
Maintain good eye contact. If direct eye contact feels intense, focus on the bridge of the interviewer's nose or the space between their eyebrows. It reads the same.
Good trick.
Also, try to subtly mirror their energy. If they're high energy, bring yours up slightly. If they're calm and measured, match that. And use their name once or twice, thoughtfully, Dr. Smith, not hey you.
Panel interviews can feel intimidating.
Key is to engage everyone. Make eye contact with each panel member when you enter. When answering a question, direct most of your answer to the person who asked it, but make brief eye contact with the others as you speak. Scan the group.
Keep answers tight.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Panel interviews often run on a strict schedule. Stick close to that 90-second rule for your star stories, and thank each panel member by name if possible at the end.
Okay. And the MMI. Multiple mini-interview, high pressure, short stations.
Structure is your best friend in the MMI. First, read the prompt twice. Once to understand, once to identify the absolute key elements and constraints.
Don't rush into answering.
No. Then use a framework. Think. What are the medical issues? What are the ethical considerations? Social factors, patient perspective, resource issues. Verbalize your thought process.
Thinking aloud.
Appropriately, yes. They want to see how you think under pressure. Okay, first I need to consider patient safety. Then the ethical implications seem to be, from a resource standpoint. It shows rational decision-making within that tight 8-minute window per station. #Precheck 4.2 Virtual Interview Mastery.
Since so many interviews are still virtual, nailing the tech is non-negotiable. A glitch looks unprofessional. Hardware must-haves.
No cutting corners here. Use a laptop or desktop, never your phone or a tablet. The angle is usually bad, and they're less stable. Get an external webcam and position it right at eye level. Looking down at the camera looks bad.
Audio.
Wired headphones or a dedicated microphone. Bluetooth can drop, batteries die. Wired is reliable. Clear audio is critical. And lighting, get a ring light or position a desk lamp in front of you to avoid looking like you're in a witness protection video.
Connection.
If you possibly can, use a wired Ethernet connection. Plug directly into your router. Wi-Fi is just too risky for dropouts during a high-stakes interview.
Okay, hardware sorted. What about the environment, setting the stage?
Keep the background neutral and professional. A tidy bookshelf is often good. Suggests you're scholarly. Avoid cluttered rooms or distracting posters. Definitely put a sign on your door. Interview in progress. Do not disturb.
Practical tips.
Have a glass of water nearby, but just at a frame so you don't knock it over. And here's a great tip from the sources. Tape keynotes or prompts just below your webcam lens.
Ah, so you can glance down quickly without breaking eye contact with the camera.
Exactly. It looks like you're still looking at them. Keep it brief, though. Keywords, not full sentences.
Smart. Let's talk about the first 30 seconds virtually, making a strong start.
Okay, the 30-second strategy. When you join the virtual room, don't start talking immediately. Wait maybe 2 seconds for the connection to stabilize.
Then what?
Confirm they can see and hear you clearly. Good morning, Dr. Evans. Just want to make sure my audio and video are coming through okay for you. Then lock onto that camera lens, camera eye contact, and give a genuine smile. Project confidence right away.
And virtual body language. It's different from being in the room.
It is. Sit about an arm's length from the screen. Too close is imposing. Too far, it looks disengaged. Keep your hands visible. When you gesture naturally, it shows openness. Don't hide them under the desk.
Any other differences?
You actually need to nod slightly more often than you would in person. It's a key visual cue that you're listening, engaged, and understanding, since they can't read your full body language.
Okay, the interview itself is done. Huge relief. But you're saying the process isn't over yet? The follow-up is still strategic?
Yeah.
#, 5.1 follow-up communication.
Absolutely. What you do after the interview can definitely influence your rank position. It reinforces your interest. First up, the thank you note.
Still necessary. Email or handwritten.
Email is standard now. and expected quickly. Send it within 24 to 36 hours. If you interview on a Friday, get it sent by Sunday evening at the latest. Promptness matters.
And the content. Not just a generic thanks for your time.
Definitely not. It needs to be personalized. The formula is, thank them, mention a specific detail from your conversation with that interviewer. This proves you were paying attention and it wasn't a form letter.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Something like, Dear Dr. Lee, thank you again for speaking with me yesterday. I particularly enjoyed our discussion about the residency wellness program and your research on narrative medicine. Then briefly reiterate your strong interest.
And maybe mention a contribution.
Yes, briefly. And it'll be my experience with relevant project skill could contribute to your ongoing work in program's area of interest. Keep it concise and professional.
Okay, thank you notes sent. What about the letter of intent, the LOI? This sounds serious.
It is. And it should be used very carefully. The absolute rule, you send an LOI to only one program, your definitive #1 choice.
Only one. Got it. When do you send it?
After you've completed all your interviews, and time it strategically.
Yeah.
Usually about 2 to 3 weeks before the official rank list submission deadline. Gives them time to consider it before they finalize their own list.
What needs to be in it to be impactful?
It has to be unambiguous. Start clearly. I am writing to inform you that program name is my #1 choice, and I will be ranking your program first. No hedging.
That's a strong statement.
It has to be. Then, back it up with 3 or 4 concrete, specific reasons why that program is your top choice. Connect your goals and values directly to things you learned about their program, faculty, research, community, specific rotations. Make it genuine.
Okay. And managing all this info from multiple interviews, it must get confusing.
Which is why the interview tracker spreadsheet is essential. Do this immediately after each interview while it's fresh.
What do you track?
Interviewer names, the specific questions they asked you, unique program features you liked or didn't, your gut feeling, any strengths or weaknesses you felt came across, any red flags, and make notes for your internal ranking.
So when it's time to make the final rank list, you're using data, not just fuzzy memories.
Exactly. It helps you make a much more objective, informed decision weeks later. #tag 5.2 addressing special IMG considerations.
Let's wrap up by hitting those really specific IMG concerns. The visa question, always stressful. How do you handle that conversation?
Need to project professionalism and preparedness. Have a flexible professional response ready for the J1 versus H1B question. Don't seem clueless.
What does that sound like?
Something like, I've researched both the J1 and H1B visa pathways and understand the requirements for each. I'm flexible and happy to proceed with whichever mechanism your program typically sponsors and prefers for IMGs.
So show flexibility, but also knowledge.
Yes. And ideally add, I've already gathered the necessary preliminary documentation for both processes to ensure a smooth transition if I match here. Maybe even mention you've consulted an immigration lawyer. It shows you're taking ownership of your logistics. You're not dropping a problem in their lap.
Good approach. What about addressing lower USMLE scores if they come up?
Don't panic. Use the upward trajectory framework. 1. Briefly acknowledge the score. No excuses. Yes, my Step 1 score was lower than I hoped. 2. Immediately highlight improvement. However, I was pleased to significantly improve on Step 2, CK Step 3. Show learning and growth.
Pivot to strengths.
Exactly. 3. Pivot hard to your clinical performance. And my clinical evaluations during my U.S. rotations consistently reflected strong clinical skills and knowledge application. Mention honors grades if you got them. 4. Reaffirm your commitment. I'm confident in my ability to excel in residency and pass the board exams. Frame the score as historical data, not predictive of your future success.
Okay. Let's circle back to Dr. Lai's story, the language barrier champion. How did he turn his accent, something many IMGs worry about, into a positive?
It was brilliant. He tackled it head-on with self-awareness and a focus on safety. He might have said something like, I understand my accent is noticeable, acknowledged it directly.
Takes courage.
It does. But then he immediately followed with a strategy. Because of that, I'm particularly careful in my communication. I make it a point to use visual aids, provide clear written instructions, and always use teachback or ask patients to confirm their understanding in their own words.
So he reframed it. It's not about the accent, it's about his methods for ensuring clarity and safety because of the accent.
Precisely. The program wasn't focused on the accent anymore. They were impressed by his meticulousness and his commitment to patient safety. He showed that clear communication was his priority, and he had systems for it.
That's fantastic. Finally, let's touch on cultural code switching, that tightrope walk between confidence and humility in the American interview context.
This is so tricky, but so important. American culture expects a certain level of self-advocacy that can feel like bragging in other cultures. You need to find the balance.
Confidence versus arrogance.
Right. Confidence is stating your accomplishments factually with specific examples. I led a team that improved X by Y%. Arrogance is exaggerating, taking all the credit, or putting others down.
And humility versus self-deprecation?
Yes. Humility is good, acknowledging team contributions, being open to learning, but too much self-deprecation, oh, it was nothing, I just got lucky, reads as lack of confidence in the U.S. context. They want to see you own your successes.
So in practice,
Don't undersell yourself. When asked about a project, don't say, I just helped out a bit. Say, I took the lead on analyzing the data for that project, which resulted in specific outcome. Use I statements for your actions. Be prepared with specific, quantifiable examples. Show enthusiasm. It's about projecting professional confidence, not aggressive boasting. It's a learned skill for many IMGs.
Wow.
#outro.
wow, we have covered a huge amount of ground, from the deep research and building that crucial story bank.
To nailing the delivery, mastering the tech for virtual, and having those frameworks ready for the really tough IMG questions.
It really is a comprehensive strategy. Let's quickly recap the absolute must-dos.
Okay. 1. Your story bank polished star stories, 90 seconds max.
Yeah.
2. 3-layer research, know the program and how you fit. 3. Technical perfection for virtual no excuses. 4. Practice those IMG-specific answers until they're smooth.
And as people head into this incredibly intense interview season, maybe some final words of wisdom, those mantras you mentioned.
Yeah, carry these with you. Remind yourself. 1. I belong here. You earned this shot. My journey is my strength.
Yeah.
Your unique path is an asset. 3. Preparation meets opportunity. You're not just lucky, you're prepared.
4.
Authenticity wins. Be your professional, confident self. And 5. Every interview is practice. Learn from each one. Keep growing.
That's great advice. And remember, as you, the listener, go through this, it's not just about getting any residency spot.
No, it's about finding the right fit, the place where your unique skills, your global perspective, your resilience will not only be valued, but will help you thrive and become the best physician you can be.
Trust your preparation. Believe in the value you bring. You've overcome so much already.
Your perspective isn't just nice to have for American healthcare. It's becoming essential. We need that diversity of experience and thought.
So walk into every interview knowing you belong. Show them why. Go forward with confidence. You've got this.